Hey, I'm Nick with a K.
And I'm Beardo.
Once again, he's filling in for Nick with a C because she's away doing
Something.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure. She just said, I can't be there next week, so I had to find another co-host for today again. And on today's Read It episode, we're going to be talking about Narnia. He's going to give us the truth, the lowdown on what really happens in the books.
Because I did read them, Nick. I did read them.
And we're also going to be talking about the Tolkien books, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
And maybe if we have time, the whole cliche of parallel universe superhero things.
Yeah, they seem to do that a lot. But yeah, we'll talk about that if we have some time. But I've never actually read the Narnia books either. I'm thinking I might actually do that because I'm looking for some new books to read. And the only things I've ever seen the BBC production of the Chronicles of Narnia, the various shows. They're old. They're probably before your time. Even.
Oh yeah, those ones.
And then I've seen the movies that Disney put out, but the novels.
So yeah, the novels were actually really good. You were correct last week on saying that they were kind of based off of the Bible, sort of. The whole Aslan, especially in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Aslan giving himself up, dying on the stone table, coming back to life. Yes, that is a very, very Christianity-directed thing, but for good reason. He did base it off of the Bible in certain aspects.
Yeah, well, I did hear about that, but
it is also very subtle. Like, you would kind of pick it up, but it's not like, oh, by the way, bam! It's still kind of... It can still get passed off.
So now what I want to know is, are they actually dead?
No, they are not actually dead.
Okay.
I'm a bugger about that for a while.
Yeah, when she said that, I'm like, you can't just... I wasn't sure if there was any truth to it because I've never read the books.
No.
So, yeah, so when was the last time you read the books?
I read the books when I was 12 or 13, I think, is when I started the first book, which actually, funny enough, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the first movie that they did, is the second book. Prince Caspian is the fourth book, and Voyage of the Dawn Treader is the fifth book, if I'm right. They're just doing the Lucy, Peter, Edmund, Susan set. Because the first book is The Magician's Apprentice, I think, or something close to that. The Magician's Nephew, that's what it is. The Magician's Nephew, and that's like the setup for Narnia. Narnia technically doesn't, spoiler alert, Narnia technically doesn't exist yet. They go to Narnia, and Narnia gets made. The second one, they go to Narnia. Third one is not in Narnia, but I don't remember where they are, and that's The Horse and His Boy. Fourth one is Prince Caspian, and that's part out of Narnia and in Narnia. The main story is in Narnia. Voyage of the Dawn Treader is number 5, and that's obviously not in Narnia, because the Dawn Treader is a ship, and they're sailing out somewhere. The Silver Chair, I don't remember where that is, and I don't remember where the last battle is either.
That's kind of confusing, but whatever.
Yeah, 7 books. It's a bit bigger series, but also the books are like that big. Like a friend of mine,
too big. So they're what like young adult.
Yeah, they'd be a young adult series for sure.
All right. Well, I think that's enough about C.S.
C.S.
Don't get me wrong. I've heard a lot about C.S. Lewis, and I know a lot of people say he's a really good author, and I'm sure he is. But let's go from C.S. Lewis to J.R.R. Tolkien and his Hobbit and Lord of the Rings books. Now, I've read both. I actually read the Lord of the Rings first, and then the Hobbit.
Which one got wrote first?
The Hobbit.
Okay, I was right. A friend of mine told me that the Lord of the Rings got written first, and then the Hobbit got wrote.
No.
Just like how they did the movies. I'm like, no. Hobbit, then Lord of the Rings. He wrote them in the right order.
It was the Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings. I've read the Hobbit several times.
I read it once.
Very good novel. Way different than the 3 movies.
Do you know why it is, though? They were adding stuff into The Hobbit, because there's Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring. Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers.
Yeah, I know, but
And then they were adding in...
They should have just done one movie, though.
The history of Middle-earth is what got added in.
Yeah, but...
Because when Gandalf goes off and does this thing, you don't even know what Gandalf is doing. They never mention it in The Hobbit, but Tolkien does mention it in his...
In the appendices and that, but still, like, I still think they should have just focused on The Hobbit in the movie.
I could see...
But anyway, we're getting too much into the film part of it.
Books.
I really did enjoy The Hobbit, and I did enjoy the Lord of the Rings. I better not call it a trilogy, because I've had people get mad at me for calling it a trilogy.
But it's the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
People have gotten mad.
Okay.
Whatever. I've read, The Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King once each. I can't read them again. I've tried.
I hate books like that.
I've tried. They were good books, but I just can't seem to read them again.
Just too much?
Too much, too thick. They're like that thick.
I've heard they're very, very detailed. They very much condensed from the movies.
It's become a slog. And it's just, The Hobbit is, so I've actually owned 2 different versions of The Hobbit. 2 different copies of it. And, because my mom gave me one, and for a Christmas present one year, and I'm like, yeah, I already own it, but I just can't seem to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, because it's I've got one that's got, an actual picture on it, the other one's straight black with...
Oh, yeah, like the other Lord of the Rings books.
I've got a symbol on it, and just says The Hobbit.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. But, yeah, they were good. They were good books. If you haven't read them, I do recommend them. Just like I'm sure he recommends the Narnia series. And so let's switch from novels to comics.
I will make this confession right now. I have not read any comic books in my life thus far yet.
Anybody else out there want to come and co-host with me on Wednesdays? Because apparently neither Nick or Beardo have read very many comics.
I've been very much in the process of doing it. I just don't have the spare funds to do it yet.
The library. Go to the library and request comics. They can bring them in from other libraries.
I forgot that there was this thing called the library where you can go and borrow books.
Yeah.
These weird things called books.
Not just books, but comic books too. That's where I've been getting a lot of my comics to read, reading up different stories. Still haven't read a lot of DC. Again, if you guys know any DC comics that you want to suggest, the trade paperbacks, the graphic novels, comment down below. Follow us on Twitter, NerdTime with the Nicks, and let me know. And let these guys know. I can't help them all by myself. Please help me help them.
I feel like based off of what I've seen from the movies and other stuff, Marvel versus DC, I think I'd be more of a Marvel fan. But I can also see myself being a DC fan because DC tends to be a bit darker.
DC is a little bit darker. Marvel
seems to be kind of flashy.
They are flashy, but they have done dark things too. Like they've killed off characters and kept them dead.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, they're a regular 6-1.
Fair enough. They rotate through the Avengers.
Talking about parallel universes for a moment. Both Marvel and DC do have parallel universes where there's another universe where there's slightly different versions of the characters and that, but. They recently did a story in Marvel. Well, maybe not recently. Quite a while ago now. They killed off Wolverine. Sorry, if you haven't heard that, he dies.
How did you kill Wolverine? Because wouldn't his regen just...
A sentient virus from the microverse, which is the universe below our universe, in the Marvel world anyway, took away his healing factor, and he had drugs and everything, that the Beast gave him so that it wouldn't kill him, because the adamantium.
Yeah.
Should have gave him metal poisoning.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have the healing factor to deal with it, but I'm still not sure how they killed him off. But he eventually died. But they actually do have another Wolverine from a parallel world. in the 616, except he's an old man Wolverine.
Cool.
That's one series I really recommend. If you haven't read it, is Old Man Logan. It's fantastic, and it's got a quite the messed up view of the Hulk. Thought it was kind of weird before. You got to check out the Old Man Logan one. And one other quick thing, Josh, if you haven't read it, check out DC's Flashpoint. It's a great series where the Flash ends up going to another world where he has no powers, and all the characters are different.
Batman's good, or no, Batman's bad, and the Joker's good.
No, not like that. Batman's still, Batman is just, I don't want to give anything too much away, but Batman's different, Joker's significantly different. And, there's other characters that have changed quite a bit too. And the Flash has to try and get his powers back.
The Flash loses his power?
In this world, he has, Barry Allen has no powers.
That would suck. Having that speed for so long and then just like, oh, I can not
walk at a moderate pace.
Yeah, I can run like a normal human being.
But you know what? I think that's enough about comics. I'm going to take just a quick moment here to give a shout out to someone. It's a non-nerd moment. My niece, Zuri, she watches the show. She loves it. And I just want to tell her how proud of her I am because she's taking swimming. She's going into level 7 swimming. I'm not even sure what
that
level
entails.
That entails. I'm not sure what level I would be because I'm not that good of a swimmer. And she's been asked to join the competitive team. So awesome job, Zuri. Way to go. And I think that's it for today. Thanks for joining me again, Beardo.
No problem.
And I think I'll probably have him back on Friday too because I don't think Nicole's going to be here. But make sure you catch the episode then. Click like, subscribe, and check us out on Twitter at Nerd Time with the Nicks. And check us out on our blog too, which we'll put the link down below.